Hey everybody, figured I'd do another War of the Spark draft for content just because I have the resources in order to queue up with it. So hopefully we do well again this time. The last time, unfortunately, I did not have time to record it just to play it in my off time. And my first three picks were rares. It was Tameo, Solar Flare, and a Johnny. But somebody passed the Ajani and Solar Flare, and I was like, what the heck? So we just drafted 5-color Planeswalkers, because our next three picks were on color uncommon planeswalkers, and we just stomped. So that is, I mean, hopefully we do that well again this time, and not like the previous draft I tried to record when I was stressed and exhausted and unable to do well. All right, pack one: Domri, Anarch of Bolas. This is a fairly good creature. It also puts us very firmly in like a green-red aggro-ish build. Because with him, the deck gets very, very powerful. There's also an Elite Guard Mage, which is an excellent creature, and same with Leyline Prowler, but we're going to take the Planeswalker. Alright, pack 2, we have Mizium Tank, which is the green-red, or I mean green-blue spells, like, payoff, effectively. This is probably good enough to just pick and play here as well. I am tempted to take Saheeli, as her ability is very powerful, but we'll take the tank. Okay, and this pack we have Evolution Sage, Cyclops Electromancer. This would be really good if we get enough instants and sorceries. This is basically a removal spell on a body. But it means that we're in the blue-red spells deck, and we could be like blue-red splash green for Domri. Alternatively, we can take Evolution Sage and power up our Planeswalkers, whichever ones we get. There's also Samet Sprint, which will definitely wheel, and Vivian's Grizzly, which is a very good pick, especially in the green-red creatures deck, as it's a way to like sustain yourself into the late game. I'm going to take Evolution Sage simply because I like it just a little bit more. Alright, we have Tybalt, Rakish Instigator, Grim Initiate, Raging Crotch. There is a little bit of the 4-power or more theme that Raging Crotch fits into, but I like Tybalt a little bit better right now. He kind of synergizes with Domri a little bit, and Evolution Sage a little bit more, as well as synergizes with Mizium Tank, because he's another non-creature spell. Alright, in this pack we have Centaur Nurturer, which is very tempting to pick. New Horizons, we're not really going to need a ton of mana fixing if we're going to stick to green-red pretty strategically, or exclusively. I don't know why I said strategically. I'm going to take Pyrohelix, though, as it's pretty decent removal, and it can ping Planeswalkers, which is important. There are several Planeswalkers in this format that have to use their abilities like once or twice. Sorry, I got distracted by a text from my fiance. That after you use their abilities once or twice, they have 1 loyalty remaining and remain on their board, and their static effect is kind of punishing. See Narset, see the Obnixilis of the set, and a few others. So Pyrohelix is a nice way to potentially get more value because you can split the damage. Alright. So in this pack, we have Grim Initiate and Crawl Stinger. And to a lesser extent, if we wanted to splash like blue, we could take Thunder Drake. Crawl Stinger is very good. It kind of sucks that we're like only having 3 drops right now. Grim Initiate does synergize with Evolution Sage, as well as is very low to the ground, and we want to have a curve up to 3. We want to have a very low curve. So I think I'm actually going to take Grim Initiate here, as it's just a little bit better than usual. I think in a lot of scenarios I would pick Crawl Stinger, though. Alright. Another Grim Initiate, which I might take. Huatli Sun's Heart actually shrinks 2 of our creatures, but does help sustain us. If we were splashing blue and had like a Bioessence Hydra, she's amazing. But we do not have that, and we're not going to bank on that, so we're just going to take Grim Initiate. Okay, Thundering Ceratok is good. It's a great top end. It's a good way to like end the game. Also, Domri takes us from 3 to 5, so being able to take one of these 5 drops is probably where we want to be. I think Thundering Ceratok is a little bit better, because if it sticks around on board, the Hexproof is nice, but the high toughness protects our Ceratok. So I'm going to go with that one. Oop. Let's just move this over here. I recommend anybody who's not already there join my Discord. There's been a lot of good chat going on since I've established the new setup. Honor the God Pharaoh is pretty decent. It gives us an amass, it triggers Mizium Tank, it synergizes Evolution Sage. I don't think we want Guild Globe in this deck, so I'll take an Honor the God Pharaoh. Turret Ogre. If you control another creature with power 4 or greater, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. It's 4/3 with reach. I am tempted to take Stair Spinner, but I think Turret Ogre is slightly better in our deck. We want to have a little bit more beef. I'm super tempted to take Giant Growth for several reasons, and I still think Vivian's Grizzly is what we pick, but we're kind of getting really heavy in the 3 drops. Primordial Worm is good top end, so I don't mind taking that here. Steady Aim is a trick that we probably won't play. Same with Time Twist and Island into the side. Okay, so we have a very good first set of picks here. We ended up with 2 rares, which is very nice. If we open up another on-color rare, we're probably in business. All right, Tolsimir, Friend to Wolves, is probably worth splashing for because he's quite excellent. Samut, Tyrant Smasher is also a very good card. Especially in the type of deck that we're trying to build here. I think I am going to take Tolsimir, and we're going to look for a little bit of mana fixing so that we can play him. He is pretty high value. So. Okay, in this pack we have Jaya's Greeting, Bolt Bend, Samut Sprint. We could technically take Dovin, but I don't want to drop our aggression for a very controlly Planeswalker. Eternal Taskmaster is actually an extremely good card for any aggro deck, because a lot of the games go grindy if you're not aggressive enough, and this is a way to constantly recycle good creatures. I'm going to take Jaya's Greeting though, because we're probably not playing black. Domri's Ambush, this is an excellent piece of removal, and it is an uncommon. So if we curve Grim Initiate into any of these 3, taking out whatever they play, into a 3-drop, we're going to be in a very good place. We would like to pick up a couple of 2-cost creatures, so that's what we're going to keep an eye out for here. Another Evolution Sage. This card's just too good not to pass. Or it's too good to pass up. I would take a Snare Spinner, like pretty much over everything else in this pack, because we do want more 2-drops, but Evolution Sage is by far the best 3-drop there. Tolsimir is also insane synergy with Arlen Cord, if you happen to get them in the same deck. So that's another thing that I'm kind of keeping a lookout for, but we want to basically fill the rest of our deck with 2-drops and maybe 1 additional 4-drop. And if we get an Arlen Cord, an additional 6-drop. Okay, in this pack we have Goblin Assailant, which I will likely be forced at some point, so I'm going to pass that. And I'm going to take Courage in Crisis, because proliferating is going to be pretty good in this deck. I do not think we can take a 3rd Evolution Sage. We do not have enough synergy for it. Crunch Wrangler is the kind of card we want to pick, though, so I will take a Crunch Wrangler. Spellgorger Weird would be okay, but like I said, we're getting heavy in the 3-drop slot, and Crunch Wrangler I feel is just a little bit better than Goblin Assailant, because we do have a couple of 4-power plus creatures. Wouldn't mind getting a couple more 4-power plus creatures, though. Alright, Arlen Cord and Thundering Ceratok. Yeah, we'll take Arlen Cord. Alright, more 2-drops, please. Give me like 3 more 2-drops and a Raging Crotch. I will take a Giant Growth. I guess we take Snare Spinner. I kind of want Samet Sprint, but Iron Bully is good with the amount of proliferating things we have, so I'll take it. We'll take another Vivian's Grizzly. I don't think we're going to play both. Goblin Assailant's good. Demolish is good versus the like Rainbow mana deck. And look at that. We're not even in pack 3 and we have a completely playable deck. So now we're looking at upgrading our mana base first and foremost, followed by upgrading our deck. Oop. Did not mean to start a video. Another Domri's Ambush. Do we want another Domri's Ambush, or do we want another Pyro Helix? God, if we could just take like these 4 cards, I'd be really happy. I'm gonna take the Ambush. There's a Pyro Helix and a Raging Crunch. I think Crunch is actually better than some of the cards we have in the 3-drop, and we just passed a Helix. We'll take the Crunch. We do need a few more 4-power creatures. Okay, Bond of Passion is a little expensive. Casualties of War is kind of outside of our colors. Samet is good. Bond of Passion is strong, but we do not want the cards that expensive, and there's another Turret Ogre. So I think our pick is between Turret Ogre and Samet. I'm going to take Turret Ogre. Not a lot of cards that we're going to be playing in this one. I'm going to take 10th District Legionnaire. If we do find like a piece of mana fixing or 2 before this is up, then we might play this and Tulsimir. Heartfire is excellent in the kind of deck that we're playing right now. I will take another Grim Initiate. I think we take the Electromancer. I don't mind having a Goblin Assault team. Having at least one hasty creature is always useful. We don't have creatures. I think we take a Samet Sprint. Forced Landing is always good to have in the sideboard. Ward Scale Crocodile, Giant Growth, Demolish for the side, Lockstone Sergeant, and Mountain. Okay, so we have a number of cards to cut. We have no mana fixing, and we're an aggressive deck, which means we probably can't be playing our white cards, which is unfortunate because we do have a couple of very good white cards. I don't think I'm going to play Ward Scale Crocodile, and we kind of need to cut top end. Arlene Cord is very strong, but without Tulsimir, I don't want to run her in this deck. I think we're going to cut a Giant Growth. We may not even run the other Giant Growth, but I like having one Samet Sprint in the deck. I'm pretty sure like this is almost untouchable. We're going to cut one Vivian's Grizzly because it doesn't contribute to our like 4-power plus stuff that's going on. I'm actually going to cut Primordial Worm to keep the curve a little bit lower. I was going to cut Cyclops Electromancer, but we have so many non-creature spells, it's really not funny. I like having one Honor the God Pharaoh, but I think in this deck it's actually not as great. I'm gonna cut Giant Growth. It's very good, but like, we're doing other things that are better. Okay, we need to cut maybe 2 more cards. And I like one of them being a non-creature spell. I think Courage in Crisis is probably our worst non-creature spell, other than maybe Samet Sprint, but I like having one of the 1 mana effects here. I think I should probably cut maybe an Iron Bully. But Iron Bully can upgrade like our Evolution Sages. Maybe we cut Snare Spinner. Alright. We have no double green, which is excellent. We have 1 double red spell. So I actually think I'm going to go up to 7 green sources here. We can probably actually get away with 8, but alright. Let's do it. I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, this is the perfect opening hand for us. Wish our opponent good luck, have fun as well. Alright, so we are going to start off with a Grim Initiate, pass the turn. Opponent plays Charmed Stray. Doesn't do too much to us here. Play a Forest, go to combat. Attack for 1 with First Strike. Play Crotch Wrangler, pass the turn. Opponent Sorin's Thirst's Crotch Wrangler. Gets in for 1. That's fine. So I think the play is to play Raging Crotch and get in with Grim Initiate. If we draw a land, Tybalt is better on the 4 when we can be attacking with the Raging Crotch as well. 4 mana, our opponent plays the Wanderer. That's actually pretty bad. Opponent gets in for 1. Oh, they're playing like black-white life gain. That's pretty frustrating. Okay, we'll play Tybalt. Make a 1/1. Attack the Wanderer. Pass the turn. Having it so our opponents can't gain life is quite nice here. Opponent plays a Gateway Plaza. Okay, we draw Iron Bully. So let's... Play Iron Bully. Put a 1/1 counter on Grim Initiate. Go to combat. Attack the Wanderer. No blocks from our opponent. I probably should have down-ticked Tybalt there. I can't imagine there's a way for them to deal only 1 damage. Okay, we draw Grim Initiate. So let's go to combat. Attack with everybody. Opponent blocks there, sure. They do not gain a life. We ping them for 1. So we could either play double Grim Initiate here, or we could play Grim Initiate and leave a Partfire. I think we just play our Grim Initiates. Down tick Tybalt, pass the turn. Like, best draw here, I think, is Domri. Nice, opponent won the Teferi lottery. Opponent bounces the token. Sure. Opponent plays a swamp. Alright, we'll draw a Turret Ogre. Okay, we'll go to combat. Attack Teferi, attack Teferi, attack our opponent, attack our opponent. Opponent is going to destroy a creature CMC 3 or less. And we cannot cast at instant speed, so we have to let that resolve. Unfortunately, otherwise I was going to Heartfire, but Kano math, or I guess Kano doesn't read. Okay, Teferi down. We have no 3-drops, so we're just going to hold up Heartfire. That is quite frustrating. This opponent replays Charmed Stray. And they're going to replay Teferi. So what we're going to do is we're going to sack the token so that if our opponent wants to bounce something, they have to bounce something that we can actually replay. Alright, so opponent bounced a Grim Initiate. We draw. Mountain. So play a mountain. Go to combat. Attack Teferi, attack our opponent. We did not play Goblin Assault Team because we do not want to trade a 4-1 for a 1-1. We were probably playing Turret Ogre. If we had one more mana, I would have just played the Cyclops. Okay. Opponent has Teferi's Time Twist. So they fog 1 damage and get to keep their Teferi. Play Turret Ogre. Our opponent is going to be able to attack Tybalt with Charmed Stray, provided our opponent down takes Teferi, and they will. Opponent bounces Turret Ogre, plays a Charmed Stray, and attacks Tybalt. We'd like to draw a land here. If they attack Tybalt and we draw a land, we can Cyclops and kill Charmed Stray and then kill Teferi. Okay, they attack and kill Tybalt. We draw a mountain, play mountain, play Cyclops Electromancer, kill Charmed Stray. Another Time Twist. Okay, Lazotep Plating. So opponent gets a 1-1. We cannot ping down the Charmed Stray. So we go to combat. Attack Teferi, attack Teferi. So many tricks. At least Teferi is dead for the time being. We get a 1-1. Pass to our opponent. They draw. I swear to God, if they aid the Fallen off the top here. Bond of Insight. So we each mill 4, and they get to pick up 2 instants and or sorceries. So I bet you they're going to take Time Twist and like Lazotep plating, or I mean Time Twist and Aid the Fallen, or Aid the Fallen and Lazotep plating. Our opponent has a very nasty deck. They took Aid the Fallen and Soren's Thirst, I think it is. Yep, so they kill our 4-2. Then they attack for 4. We draw an Evolution Sage. So we play... So first, we attack them for 1. They're just going to replay Teferi again for like the 9th time. It feels like. Attack for 1. We're not going to offer the trade because we do have an Evolution Sage. Play Turret Ogre. Play Grim Initiate. Pass the turn. So Aid the Fallen. Opponent can pick up like Augur of Bolus and Teferi. They just... Oh, okay. They took Dread Malkin and Teferi. And they play Teferi. Probably bounce the army so we don't get anything out of the deal. Oh, they bounced the Turret Ogre. Okay. They play another Charmed Stray. Okay, I think it is this point that we've already lost now. That was pretty ridiculous. Because, like, even if we kill Teferi, our opponent has 2 life-linking 3/3s. So... we're gonna go ahead and go to game 2. And I kind of want to bring in Demolish, honestly. Do we have any sideboard that we want to use? Opponent says a lot of Grim Initiates. I'm going to say a lot of Teferis. Alright. Oh, I can't get out of the way. Never mind. Too immobile. Alright, we'll play first. This is good. We will keep. Okay. Start Mountain. Play Grim Initiate. Alright, we draw Evolution Sage, play a forest. Hit our opponent for 2. Opponent says they liked this earlier in the week when all of the newer players were still drafting. We are going to play Evolution Sage. Go to combat, get in for 2. Opponent says you killed my stray and his big brother Teferi is coming after you. So opponent Tyrant Scorned, kill Evolution Sage. We draw land. You know what? We're going to do the Goblet Assault team. Because now if we draw land, we can play... actually, no, we don't even need to. The mana is not restricted from being used like only on creature spells. Opponent plays Augur of Bolus. Finds a Price of Betrayal. So they can remove up to 5 counters from something. Which does kill Domri, that's true. Alright, we draw Forest. So play a Forest. Play Domri. Domri pumps the offensive capabilities of our team by 1 each. So this will allow the Grim Initiate to fight the Augur of Bolus. Alright, so opponent gets a 1/1 token and counters our fight ability. Because they are lower on life, we are going to attack with Grim Initiate. They cannot double block to kill it because it has first strike. Okay, opponent goes to 7. So opponent has a Price of Betrayal. So they can either shrink the Initiate or kill Domri, and one of those is a very obvious option. Opponent plays a Rising Populace. Attack Domri, attack Domri. Alright, well, Domri dead. So on our opponent's end step, we will kill Rising Populace. Opponent has a Time Twist. The good news is it doesn't come back till our end step, so we can get in for 6 and take our opponent to 1. It's kind of unfortunate that we couldn't ping our opponent for one there. Just need to draw a way to sneak in 1 damage. Okay, well, go to combat. Attack with Grim Initiate. If our opponent blocks with Rising Populace, we will Samet Sprint, which will give us a scry to set up our next turn. If they block with just like their Zombie Army token or their Augur Bolus for safe block, we are not going to use Samet Sprint because we could surprise our opponent with a hasty creature that way. Opponent does have to block, though. Okay, opponent blocks with Rising Populace, so we Samet Sprint. Opponent has an Obnixilis' Cruelty, which exiles our guy. We do not get our token. So I think Tybalt is our best possible draw. Opponent plays a Dread Malkin. Still has a Price of Betrayal in hand. We draw a mountain, so we're going to play it. Pass the turn. Opponent can't do much, we can't do much. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a combat trick that gives trample. Opponent plays a Guild Globe, gets to draw. Plays a Swamp. Sacks Augur Bolus to increase the power of Dread Malkin and Rising Populace. Gets in for 3 with Menace. We untap and draw Mountain. Pass the turn. That's true. 1 Turret Ogre and he's dead, according to opponent. So, even if our opponent plays Teferi and bounces, that's one reason I'm playing out the lands, is so that we could play potentially Goblin Assault Team and Turret Ogre in the same turn. Opponent does only have 6 minutes on the clock. Opponent attacks for 7. They can make that 10. We're not going to block. Draw Raging Crunch. Now play the Crunch. No attacks. So like I said, it is worth noting that they can make that a total of 10 damage if they attack, which means we do have to block. No attacks. I think that was incorrect. Okay, we draw and play a Grim Initiate. Pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent plays a land. Passes. We draw. Heartfire. Alright, so on our opponent's end step, I think we'll Heartfire them. Actually, it kind of depends on what they do. Try it like this. Did we get you? Whew. We got there. Alright, we're gonna run it back. Okay, we'll keep this. Opponent starts Swamp. We draw Tybalt, which is quite excellent. Play Grim Initiate, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Swamp. Soren's Thirst. Oh no! Guild Globe. That was me being a pessimist. Alright, we draw Mountain, which is good. Play Crotch Wrangler. Get in for one. Third Swamp for our opponent. That's not looking good for their mana situation. Alright. Go to combat. Attack for 3. Play Tybalt. Down-tick Tybalt. Pass the turn. Opponent finds a Plains. Plays a Rising Populace. We draw Evolution Sage. So we play a Forest. I think we play Crunch and down-tick Tybalt. And then we're going to wait until next turn. We could attack with the Crunch Wrangler, but if we draw a land and place Thundering Ceratok, we're going to be in an even better position. Opponent finds an Interplanar Beacon, so they can fix mana for Planeswalkers. They cannot gain life, though, because of Tybalt, which is nice. So it looks like Teferi. No, it's Teo, the Shield Mage. Okay. Opponent ticks down Teo. We untap and draw Domri's Ambush. I think that kills our opponent. So we Domri's Ambush, putting a 1/1 counter on... because it's a one-sided fight, right? So we can put a 1/1 counter on a token. Kill Rising Populace. We can sack the other devil to Heartfire down the wall, pinging Teo for 1, and then hit them for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take them to 6. And then next turn, if we draw land, we Thundering Saratok and win. Okay, opponent filters into blue-white. It has a Time Twist, sure. So we power up the Devil. We Heartfire the Wall, sacking this Devil. Ping Teo for 1. Go to combat. Attack our opponent. Actually, yeah, we should kill Teo. So our opponent does get back their Rising Populace and can attack to kill Tybalt. But if they do that, they're probably in a world of hurt. They would have to have something pretty good to follow that up. The Wanderer, okay. Opponent does have a target for the Wanderer. So you can take out the Crunch. Opponent could have attacked and then played the Wanderer, but I think they are trying to play it a little bit safer. I think that kills our opponent. As we pump up the Crunch Wrangler. Actually don't know if I think it leaves him at 1. But they have to block Goblin Assault Team for this. Okay. Opponent takes 7. Put a 1/1 counter on the Grim Initiate. Pass the turn. And now Evolution Sage plus land pumps the whole team. Okay, opponent exiles our 4-power creature. They play a land. Alright. Moving on to round 2. Alright. Round 2, here we go. Alright, we lost the die roll, so we will be likely on the draw. This is a good hand. We have a 1, a 2, and a 3, which is where you want to be with Gruul aggro. Hopefully we draw just about non-creatures the rest of the game, because I think that's all we need. So opponent starts Mountain Grim Initiate, and we start Mountain Grim Initiate. Pass the turn. Opponent attacks for 1. I'm not going to block. They play an island and pass. We draw Mountain. Go to combat. Attack for 1. So we can hide a little bit of information here because we only have 1 green cost cards in our entire deck. We're going to play a Mountain and play a Goblin Assailant. Opponent plays an island and plays a Spellkeeper Weird. Okay. We draw Domri's Ambush. Let's see. So play another Mountain. Play Iron Bully. Put a 1/1 counter on Goblin Assailant. No attacks. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Mountain. Passes. We draw Grim Initiate. Play a Forest. We're going to Domri's Ambush to try and kill Spellkeeper Weird. Opponent could have a counterspell. Opponent could have removal. Someone's finally awake after his walk. Opponent Crush Descent. We can pay the cost, thankfully. We still kill Spellkeeper Weird. And we get in for 4. Okay, opponent blocks with Grim Initiate just to get the Amass. Opponent proliferates. And proliferates. Okay. We'd like our other Domri's Ambush here. That would be a complete blowout for our opponent. Ah, opponent's going aggro. You know what? We'll block. Play a Forest. We'll wait to play that. Go to combat. Attack, attack. You know what? Attack. Hit him for 6. Play Grim Initiate. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Cyclops Electromancer, kills our Grim Initiate. Okay, we amass another 1. They get in for 5. We take it and go to 14. We draw Chandra's Pyrohelix. So we Pyrohelix the Cyclops. And attack for 7. Take our opponent to 6, play a Mountain, and pass the turn. Opponent Contentious Plan, they get to draw and proliferate. They play a land. And they pass. We draw another Mountain. So go to combat. Attack for 1 with Menace. That has Menace. Take our opponent to 5. Play a Forest. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent attacks for 6. We take 6. Go to 8. Opponent plays a Kiora's Dambreaker. And proliferates. Sure. We draw a Mizium Tank. Play a Mizium tank. Go to combat. Attack for 1 with Menace. So we will have to chump this turn. Okay. Opponent amasses X, where X is a lot. Block their 11/11 with our 2/2. Okay, we need to draw a non-creature spell. Ideally, a non-creature spell that removes that. So that has trample. So we get Samet Sprint. We need to have a creature back to block. Let me think about this. So we animate Mizium Tank. Animating Mizium Tank with Iron Bully is almost certainly incorrect. So if we animated Mizium Tank with Iron Bully, we get a 3/2 with Trample. We attack with a 4/4 and a 3/2 with Trample. They block here and here. We can Samet Sprint to make this a 6/4 with Trample, and then Scry, but that doesn't work. So I think what we do... Oh, shoot. We're 1 damage short. The problem is we can't use Samet Sprint like a trick and as an offensive measure here. I think we have to pass turn. Because we Samet Sprint the Goblin Assailant, animate this. They just block here, and then take 1. We Samet Sprint here, we animate this, they block here, take 3 and go to 1, we scry, and then we die. Alright. We're passing. Oh, I should have actually attacked with Iron Bully. Let's see what they do. Just attacking with the 1, huh? I think we give up on the 4/4. Okay. We just need to draw 1 damage. That is 1 damage. So we Samet Sprint, animate the tank. Opponent has to have nothing to interact with us here, but this should kill them. Okay. We get to scry Domri's Ambush to the bottom. Play a mountain. Play Turret Ogre. So they crush Descent, but we can pay for it. Turret Ogre lands, deals 2, go to combat, attack, attack. They can block one, but they can't block the other. And I think we got there. Whew, that was close. Man, Crush Descent, I actually really like Crush Descent as a limited spell. I think it's a little underrated, but that definitely shows off its weakness. If your opponent can just pay for it, it does nothing. So let's see, our opponent has a large token capability. They have some flyers. It's possible we may want forced landing, but I think we just run it back. We don't really have a way to deal with the large token, unfortunately. So we just have to be faster before they amass a huge army, or we have to use our removal to reset the army size. Okay, this is good. This is a good hand. We will keep. Opponent plays an Ugin's Conjurant. We draw a mountain, which is excellent. Play Grim Initiate, pass the turn. Opponent plays a mountain, and Contentious Plan. Attacks for 2, no blocks. We draw mountain. So I think what we do is play green mana, Domri's Ambush, kill Ugin's Conjurant, get in for 2. Opponent plays a Spellkeeper Weird. We untap and draw Goblin Assailant, so play a mountain, go to combat, attack for 2. Opponent blocks, Salmon Sprint, Turret Ogre to the top, kill Spellkeeper Weird, play Goblin Assailant, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Contentious Plan, draws a card, and plays a mountain. Okay. We draw Turret Ogre, play a mountain, go to combat, attack for 4. Play Turret Ogre, pass the turn. Opponent plays a mountain and an Eternal Skylord. Okay. We draw Iron Bully. Unfortunately, we cannot Pyrohelix and Iron Bully. So, go to combat, attack with everything. Opponent blocks there and there. Okay. So we can either Pyrohelix to save our 2/2, or we can, like, just allow this trade to happen. I think we allow the trade to happen. Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping that our opponent would want to take the greedy block on the Grim Initiate. It doesn't look like that's the case. So trade off our board. That might have been a mistake. We'll see. Play Iron Bully. 1/1 counter on Grim Initiate. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. And a Kiora's Dambreaker. Does not proliferate. We draw Mizium Tank. It's our old pal Mizium Tank. Get in for 1 with Menace. Play Mizium Tank. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Thunder Drake and Contentious Plan. So they get to get a 1/1 counter, then proliferate. It's pretty strong. They play a land. Oh, they attack for 5. Well, no blocks then. We draw a mountain. So play a mountain. Animate Mizium Tank. Go to combat. Attack, attack. So we'll put 2 damage there. One tramples over. Opponent goes to 7. Opponent Callous Dismissal, bounces Grim Initiate to our hand. Gets in for 5, we take it. We draw Domri's Ambush. So play Thundering Ceratok. Opponent crushes Descent. It's actually super bad. Pass to our opponent. I get in for 8, so we block 5 damage. We draw a forest, and that's the game. Alright, moving on to game 3. Still no adjustments, I believe. I will play first. We are going to keep this hand despite our relative lack of a curve. Hopefully that does not come back to bite us. Domri is actually very nice because Crush Descent becomes 4 mana instant, amass 2, but you can only cast it when somebody else casts a spell. Start Mountain, pass the turn. Opponent Mountain, nothing. We draw Grim Initiate, play a Forest, play Grim Initiate, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Sky Theater Strix. We draw Mountain. To play a Mountain, Domri's Ambush. Get in for 2. Still need to draw land here. Opponent plays a Mountain. Plays a Saheeli Rai. We untap and draw Mountain. Perfect. Literally could not have planned this better. So 2 damage there. Kill Saheeli Rai. Now if we draw a land, we can Evolution Sage and Vivian's Grizzly. Opponent plays a Thunder Drake. Oh, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Proliferate. Here and here. Have them fight. Get in for 4. We have efficiently answered every threat our opponent has played. Opponent plays a Cyclops Electromancer. Can't kill anything. We untap and draw a Forest. So we can proliferate. We can fight if we want to. We cannot play Vivian's Grizzly, activate its ability, and fight, though, because we would need the mana from Domri. So I think the play here is to play a Forest, proliferate here and here, play Vivian's Grizzly, fight, attack for 9, pass the turn. Opponent plays a land, plays a Kiora's Dambreaker, sure. We untap and just need 1 damage. That's 1 damage. Hit our opponent for 2. And attack for lethal. Whew! That was brutal. Man, that was one of the most aggressive and powerful curves we've ever had. Alright, so I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright. Powerful cards in our hand, but only 1 land. I think we have to mulligan. We have 2 Grim Initiates, a 2-drop, and 2 3s. I'm going to keep this and put back the Electromancer, basically because we're on the draw and have the opportunity with 2 hits to hit a land. Ideally a green source, but it doesn't have to be. Oh, there it is. Play Grim Initiate, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Pollen Bright Druid and puts a 1/1 counter on itself. We'll play a Forest. Fight. We're rewarded for maximum greed. Get in for 2. Opponent plays a Forest. Nothing. We draw. Goblin Assault Team. Play a Mountain. Play Iron Bully. 1/1 counter on Grim Initiate. Get in for 3. Take our opponent to 15. Opponent played an island. Okay. We untap and draw Grim Initiate. So go to combat. Attack for 4. Play Vivian's Grizzly. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. 4 mana, they play Vraska, Swarm's Eminence. Create a 1/1 with Death Touch. We draw a Mountain. Play a Mountain. Attack Vraska with everything. Opponent blocks the 2/3, that's fine. Play Grim Initiate and Grim Initiate. Pass the turn. Six mana for our opponent. They play a really big Ugin's Conjurant. We draw Thundering Ceratok. So, play Goblin Assault Team. Go to combat. Hit him with everything. Opponent blocks the big Grim Initiate. We first strike it down to a 3-drop. It dies and we amass 1. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent plays a Kioro's Dambreaker. We draw a Forest. So let's see. If we play Thundering Ceratok and attack, our opponent blocks... Well, they block a 4/1 and a 1/1. Our opponent takes 3 damage. They go to 1. We put a 1/1 counter on something. And... yeah, that's worth it. Play Thundering Ceratok. Everything gets trample. Get in. Make our opponent scooped. Alright, game 2. Okay. It's kind of a slower hand. I think I'm going to mulligan. I probably shouldn't have mulliganed. We're going to go to 5. Opponent mulligans to 6, so that's good news. Alright, we can keep this. We're going to put back Thundering Ceratok and Guess Turret Ogre. So we'd like to draw a 2-drop and then a land and then a land. That would be the ideal scenario. A 1-drop's also fine because you can play a 1-drop on 2. Our opponent keep a 1-lander. And we have Grim Initiate Tron. Get in for 1. Oh no. This is not how this should end. This should end with a game of real magic. It may yet get there, but the window is closing fast. Our opponent would have to have like land callous dismissal. Pollen Bright Druid sort of works too. Put a 1/1 counter on it. We draw Domri and Arcabolus. And I think that dumps this right back into non-game territory. Attack our opponent for 9. Yeah, they're just dead. Because we uptick and play Goblin Assault Team pretty much regardless of whatever they have. I'm sorry, opponent. Nope. Opponent's a really cool guy and lets us have the attack. Have a giant growth too. They go down fighting. Respect. Respect, Falcon Eye. I'm sorry about that. All right, well, we 3-0'd with a very, very powerful Gruul aggro deck. Also is a good deck in War of the Spark, but you have to have the right enablers, and you have to draft to an aggressive curve. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, you want to see more, let me know. Like the video, leave a comment, anything you can do lets me figure out what you guys like. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you are so inclined. You can also follow me on Twitch. I should be streaming more regularly now that everything is kind of in order. Same username there as on here. And I'll see you guys next time. You're all wonderful people. Bye.